My
Hopefully
mic
it
will
works
probably
on
still sound
stream.
like All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. If you're not going to show your face, can you click the camera icon so we can see your profile picture at least, or a blank profile picture, whatever you got?
Yeah, I got you, bro. Oh shit, I got nothing. I just got I got nothing. That's it.
Okay, that's fine, man. That's no problem. How are you doing, man? Where are you from?
Texas originally.
Oh, Texas originally? You're not in Texas anymore?
No. I've moved around quite a bit.
Oh, California?
No, not at all. No. I've just lived in a few different states.
Fair enough. How old are you? I'm just curious.
29.
29. Oh, you sound like you're in your mid-20s still. Well, you're still a young man.
Yeah, it's young enough, I guess.
Yeah. Once we get some people in here, I definitely have some questions, and then we can hop into some topics.
Sure.
But
if you want.
what did you think of? Well, I didn't actually. I mean, you don't sound mad at me, so I'm guessing I didn't rage you into joining my Discord, did I?
No, I don't usually rage that much anymore over internet stuff. Just not worth it to get your blood pressure up, except for when you argue, and that's just kind of fun, right? But no, you didn't rage bait me.
You joined from me and the bearded fella, Dustley's stream. Is that when you joined the Discord, or was it before that?
I saw your stream on about
Today?
was it 3 or 4 hours ago. Yeah, I was scrolling through YouTube and it just popped up, and then you had a Discord link, and that's the only reason I clicked on it. If you just would have had nothing else, I would have been like, I'll pass.
Cool. Yeah, I'm trying to grow the Discord community. We're getting close to 400. I think we can get there pretty quickly. But how's everyone else out there? I see we got 11 people in here already. Drop some comments, smash that like button. Let me know who's watching. If any moderators or anyone I know is watching, or maybe I don't know you at all, drop a comment. But we'll wait another minute or two, and then I want to ask you, because I saw I wanted to ask you about your Discord, man. But let me do some research while I wait for some people to join in here. But yeah, let's see. Maybe I can find an answer on Google before I ask you the question. Let's see if it gives me an answer. Okay, that's kind of what I figured. So now that we have 38 people in here, I guess I'll go ahead and ask you. I mean, you down to debate after this? Are you in the Discord? If you drop me a $10 super chat, we can debate after this. I had some other people that wanted to come on because I didn't think he was going to come on because I wasn't sure about your phone charging. But if you drop a $10 super chat, we can do it, man. Or just, we can negotiate if possible, but I would appreciate it. It is Saturday. But yeah, what's up with that what's up with that username? I thought you were like a big Trump hater, but I understand what like neoliberalism, but what is it to you? What's neoliberal? What does that mean to you? You there? I know you gave me one a few days ago. Can you give me one more? Here, just $5, just a $5, man. And I never saw you in the Discord either. I think I was looking for you.
Can you hear me, right? I bet.
Yeah, I can hear you now. So what's up with the neoliberalism thing?
So neoliberalism is an idea mostly originating around, I guess, Margaret Thatcher's time. Usually it has to do with wanting more, what's the word? I'm trying to think of a good way to define this. It's basically kind of Reagan era / Margaret Thatcher era. Usually stuff like, I did pull up a list. I did Google it just to make sure I wasn't misspeaking, but like more privatization, free trade, globalization, big fan on that. Looser border control, so that way you can have not looser border control, but like more visa stuff like that. They're big into deregulation. typically. So typically, all those things I usually align with. It's just the label I align with the most. Not that everything I agree with the label, every person who's held it, but it's just the thing I agree with most. Just think of like a liberal, but they're a little bit more into privatization and probably more deregulation on corporations.
Privatization of what? What do you want to privatize?
No, I just privatizations typically the better route to go. Like instead of having like use an example, instead of having like a national train industry, if you just had multiple train companies, that would be
I
like
mean,
a better avenue.
privatizing roads is a horrible idea for an example. I
Well,
appreciate
well,
that super chat, by the way, Team Crane.
well. I'm not saying privatize everything, right? It's not like an all or nothing thing, but it's like if you had like a national airline or something, that would it would be more beneficial to have multiple airlines than just one national airline.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Depends on the
Huge,
specific thing.
yeah,
I
of
don't
course, but
really think I would, personally, I don't really think I would, change much about the immigration system other than the green card process. I would speed up green cards for people and allow them to get that quicker. But and everything else, for like the visas we have, I can't really think of any other visas I would add.
well, it's not about necessarily. I mean, we have a I don't want to say decently fluid, but a fluid enough visa program like the HB1s and stuff like that. But I would say like even less entry fees for fines and stuff like that. Like I don't want a company paying 5K for someone to come in when they could just come in for a lot less and start working right away.
Mm-mm. I don't know. I'm fine with all that because there's 7 million Americans that don't have jobs, and that's not even including like the youth that are this is just people over 18. This is 7 million people over 18. We can get some high schoolers some more jobs. I mean, like 30 or 40 years ago, people in high school were working in fields picking tobacco for extra money. Is
Hmm.
this live?
Yeah,
Yes, this is live.
yeah, of course there were, but like Americans don't seem to want a lot of those jobs.
That's because they're lazy and they've been given more
Yeah,
self-entitlement. Do you agree with, the rise in self-entitlement?
I mean people are definitely more self entitled, but I think that just goes with the territory of like your economy improving, right? Like, if my grandmother grew up during the Great Depression, right? So she had to deal with being poor generally, having less food, just things were tougher. So you're able to do a lot more things. Like it's not so bad to go pick tobacco if you don't have a meal today. You know what I mean? But that's
I
not,
mean, they had meals back then. I'm just talking about people that are in their 40s and 50s. They just wanted
well,
extra money during high school. Nowadays, everyone's given everything.
well, it's like a scale, right? Like even people in their 40s and their 50s, they had it better off than their grandmother and grandfather, and they wouldn't even be willing to do some things they did. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I do agree
like,
with you there, but they're not having it better now. People have to work harder. I mean, I'll give in two factors. First off, I do think people have to work harder for stuff like, houses, apartments, whatnot. But I also think that there's more possibilities to make money because, you know, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, it was not really possible to make, money this easily with all these new technological advances, in the internet age and stuff like that. But we have 200
mm,
people in here. Smash that like and subscribe button.
no,
So
I would,
I do think it's hard times, but I also do think it's easy times because we got the internet, we got crypto, we got a million different ways to make money nowadays. But at the same time, you need more money than ever. You need more money for a house than your parents did. And people are still the work ethic is still not there.
well, I mean, I think things are better in some aspects, maybe worse than others. Like the internet introduces its own challenges with like mental health and shit like that. But like, as far as like having more things and like having more opportunities, I feel like I had definitely more opportunities than even my parents, right?
Oh
Like
yeah, I
it,
think there's more opportunities, but once again, when we're actually looking at the financial, fiscal number for property, for to actually get into these assets to start building wealth, you need a lot more money. I mean, sure, you can start off with crypto or stock market, with like $50, $20, $10, but when it comes to property investments, when it comes to starting, I mean, you can still start a business for relatively cheap, but 40 years ago, I mean, 30 or 40 years ago, you could start a business for probably a bit cheaper than you can now, but you can still start a business easily with a couple $1,000 and have it very, very successful. Or you can even start some businesses for free if you know what you're doing.
yeah, some LLCs you can open up pretty easy. I don't know. I think people kind of overblow how much things have like changed dramatically and have improved like financially. Like you're right, people do own less property right now, but if you get like a decent college job and you graduate with like a decent degree, like you're fine. You have life on easy mode compared to like people who are plowing tobacco fields.
Well, that's true, but hello, maximum leverage. That is true, but most people, the degrees that kids are getting nowadays are not really, that profitable overall. I mean, I was looking at a statistic in a study, and it said that people with bachelor's degrees right now have the same unemployment rate as people that don't have any college education. I mean, that's not a good sign to tell you right there. That's liberal
Well,
arts degrees, that's climate change studies, that's gender studies, or whatever else these people are studying.
well, we still have tons of engineers that are in the U.S. and we still have tons of like useful degrees past that too. Like
We do,
all the medical
absolutely,
stuff
but
we do in
that's
the
what the
U.S.
intellectuals go for. The people, I mean, no offense to anyone out there, but it seems the people that are getting these worthless degrees that aren't really going to get you a job in the market are, mostly people that grew up on extreme easy mode.
Also the numbers are like not even close. Like I think if you have a bachelor's, just a bachelor's, and you're not even regulating for like what type of degree, you're still making more money than someone who's had some college or no college at all.
I mean,
Like
that's not
it's
what a recent study came out. I mean, I can send you the study if you're interested in, or I can look it up right
I
now, but
I guess I don't necessarily we don't have to necessarily go through study line by line, but I'm pretty sure last time I looked it up, and it could have been a year or two ago, whatever it was like still college degrees were still just way more up compared to like having none. I think there's one I just pulled up from. It says UMass Global. I've never even used this website before. I don't know how much I trust it, but last time I looked, it wasn't even close.
The
And that,
Fortune, the article was made by the Fortune magazine, and it said Gen Z with college degrees now have the same unemployment rate as non-grads. A
well,
sign that higher education payoff is dead. I mean, I think trade school is the way to go if you're
well, it
really
depends
trying
on.
to get like a start a business, and if you're really going it for a financial aspect, I think the way to do it is trade school. But if you're going to go to college, there's something that you want to do that's profitable, like engineer, software engineer, regular engineer, whatever, then okay, go for a college degree. But if you're just going from it, maybe there's something you're passionate about in trade school. I think in terms of finance and debt and how much money you can make, I think trade school is a great route right now for people.
It depends on the person, but even like trade schools versus bachelor's degrees, you're still making tremendously more money on bachelor's on average.
With
Now
what
that's just the
bachelor's
average, of
degree?
course.
With which
Even
bachelor's
master's
degree?
degree makes more than bachelor's, yeah. But this
HVAC,
is on average, right?
people that are doing HVAC or people that are doing, welding, most of them make more than, I mean, any kind of really bachelor's degree you can think of. I mean, name a bachelor's degree and we can compare it one on one. I mean, some welders and
Mechanical
some people in
engineering, like they would
sorry,
make you'd make more than HVAC tech for sure. I promise you.
in engineering, yeah, okay, that's one. But
Well,
other
that's
than
like an entire
engineering,
field.
sorry, is that what
That's
you're
like an
in?
entire field though. That's huge. Like that's
But
the
if you
equivalent
start
to
an
HVAC.
HVAC business, you can be a millionaire, or you can be making hundreds of thousands of dollars probably, within 5 or 6 years.
Well, maybe, but that's 5 or 6 years is unlikely. You still have to learn the trade, learn the craft. It's a
Nah,
skill you
it's
have
not
to
really
learn and
too
develop.
unlikely. I mean,
It 5 or 6 years and you can just make $1 million. Like
no, not a
it's a very
million. A couple
difficult
hundred
thing.
thousand. A million's definitely going to be hard, but a couple 100,000 for
It
sure in five or
not
six
not
years.
everyone's not everyone in like the trade starts their own business either. Some
No, I
people,
know that. I know that.
yeah, like yeah, most people don't. Like now, like if you can do it and you have the bandwidth and ability to do it, you can do it. But I had a buddy who did that out in Vegas, and he almost quit the whole thing after like 5 years of pure grinding.
Yeah, no, HVAC is not easy at all. It's, really hard labor. It's very
Oh
strenuous.
my
It's
god,
not
sorry,
really. Sorry?
fucking someone just tried calling me. Fucking
It's okay.
annoying. It's yeah, it's just like it's a very like difficult thing to
I
do. Like
never
he already
said
had.
HVAC installers make six figures a year. I said if you started your own business, for whoever's saying that in the comment section.
Well, but even if you're starting your own business, it's going to take years to build up a customer rapport or repertoire, and then like you got to assume that you already know all the knowledge. Like coming in as like an apprentice, you could be an apprentice for 3, 4 years, man. Like you're not. It's
No,
not
I know,
necessarily
but
like
you can
instant.
be an apprentice for a year or two, and you can start your own business, and then 4 or 5 years later, you can be making a couple $100,000 a year. I mean, we're not going to sit here and say that's impossible. All you got to do is get out in your community, go to community kind of social events, promote your business, and just grind as hard as possible, get your business out there. And for anyone out there saying, "Oh, the equipment is so expensive," just get a loan. I mean, of course, loans are not the best way to do it, but
I don't know. This is a
I
really
mean, loans
simplified
can
look
be a
at it.
great way to do it. I'm not saying they're not the best or the worst way, but
Either way, like still, even with the unemployment thing you mentioned earlier, bachelor's degrees still make more money hand over fist. Like obviously, you have exceptions where you can't get work or you choose a shitty degree, but on
I mean,
average, as a
I
whole.
mean, I don't know if I don't know if you're in engineering or not, but I mean, definitely engineers make a lot of money. But for any other thing, there's probably a million other freaking bachelor's degrees that I can mention that don't make any money.
Well, I mean, you could have like an accounting degree or something. They make money as well. You could go into the
Yeah,
medical
accounting can
field, do a
make good,
variety of
but
things.
I mean, I don't know how much the average starting accountant makes, but
I well, you'd have to go into it, Google each one, but either way, still on average, when you lump them all together, if you have the ability to, you should go to college and get a bachelor's degree. Now that being
what
said, there's
about
different
underwater
people.
welders? Some of them can make 200 grand a year. You can go to
Underwater
HVAC for
welding is
that.
fucking hard as fuck. That
I
my
mean,
so
all the vocational training, all that stuff is very hard.
it no, but like I'll peel back the curtain a little bit. I'm from the Houston area in Texas, and I have family in oil and stuff like that. And my stepdad goes on oil rigs. He works on them. He's not an underwater welder, but those guys are like their body gets fucked. Like it's not. You mind if I say fuck? By the way, sorry, I should
Yeah,
have
go
asked you.
ahead, sure. I mean, you already said it, so
It's
it's
they make a lot of money, but they also only do a couple stints at a time because it's so physically demanding of a job to actually go in the ocean, go down and weld shit. And even then, like it's incredibly more dangerous than pretty
it's
much any
definitely
other
more
type of work.
dangerous. That's why you get more pay.
Yeah, but less people do it because it is more dangerous. And people with families don't want to do that shit typically because you can die a lot easier than you know what I mean.
I
Like
mean,
people
like
aren't
you
going to
said,
choose.
it's all about what you want to do. If you want to do,
Yeah.
vocational training, you're not going to go $30,000 of debt per year. You'll just, pay a 10,000 or a $15,000 program. Maybe sometimes even less. Some vocational training, I believe, is actually state funded in some states. I think Tennessee is one of them, but I'm not from Tennessee, so I
Oh,
don't know 100%.
and some of them you can even start like in high school sometimes. Like sometimes you can start getting credits in high school even too. So it just depends.
Offshore oil rig, that's another job. You can make 150K a year, even 250K a year, but I know
You
it's
can, but
hard.
it's a
It's hard.
cost. It's a cost. But he did it. But he's done it for a long time now, and it's one of those things where he's a supervisor now, right? So you move up in the world after working there, but that took time, right? That took like 10, 15 years. Either way, um, you
Super yacht
should.
chef, 125K a year plus 30K tip. Are you an actual super yacht chef? That's kind of badass. My
Yeah.
friend works on a regular yacht as a chef.
Is there anything else you wanted to go into? Did you ever want to go in foreign policy at all, or no? Nothing.
I mean, of course we can go into foreign policy. What are you going to talk about?
Uh, well, we could talk about if you want to move to a more isolationist policy. I'm not going to assume what you are or what
Yeah,
you
of
aren't.
course. I mean, of course, I want to move into a more a more isolating policy. But even if we did that, we would still have the issue of $451 billion of spending on illegal immigrants inside of our country. So even if we took away that 250 billion that we gave to Ukraine, even if we took away that 24 billion that we gave to Israel in 2.5, 3 years, I mean, okay, cool. Now we're not in debt $300 billion to foreign affairs, but we're still in debt $451 billion a year to illegal immigrants taking up welfare programs and going putting their kids in the school systems and having insurance programs and all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, sure, I would prefer an isolative, policy in the United States, but that's never going to happen. And I also don't believe in you know, forgetting about our allies. But do I think we should be giving other countries as much money as we do? Yeah, probably not. But if we're talking about like the Argentina thing is a loan. That's a $20 billion loan. We gave Mexico a $50 million loan in the '90s,
Well,
and they
Ukraine also
paid us
does do
back.
some. Ukraine also does do a form of the lend lease. They're just not paying it back right now because they're gonna have a hard
Yeah,
time
no, I
doing it.
understand, but they're probably let's be realistic. We already know they're not going to pay it back. That's why the government was already talking about doing a mineral deal with them so we can seize their resources and pay it back that way.
Yeah, but I mean,
It
so
was a currency swap, but it was also a loan. It was a currency swap, but it was also a loan. So you can look it up.
So when it comes to foreign policy, the view I kind of have on it is that a lot of people are super negative over kind of the way we do business and conduct business with having like cooperative security agreements. But I actually think they benefit the U.S. more than people realize. Like the fact that we have like a pretty large network, we're all over the world. We have so many different installations and places we can go to, drop equipment, and literally start operating out of. Um, it's an incredible asset, and it actually makes it to where you're never really going to have a true conflict in America, like with other countries that are actually going to be able to hit mainland America. Like it's not going to happen because we're so expansive and because we have so many different allies. Like I actually think it's been a great benefit. So I actually think when we start like shitting on NATO and stuff like that, I think it's a huge bad.
Well, I think it's kind of a problem that we're paying the majority of NATO funds. I mean, I understand, but I mean, let's be honest here. Who is NATO mostly protecting? Other European countries. We shouldn't be like, one of the major financial contributors. But also, I want to say everyone out there that's saying the $20 billion to Argentina wasn't a loan. I mean, I'm looking at this right now, and it says that the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, gave Argentina a 48-month US $20 billion loan. So I don't know where they're getting their information from. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing, but from what I'm reading right now, it says it's a 48-month loan to Argentina. I mean, here you guys go. You probably can't see because it's inverse, but it's also a currency swap. That part's true as well. They gave us, I think it was Argentinian pesos or something like that. I mean, all it takes is one Google search away, and you guys won't look up to see if it was a loan or not. I mean, people are extremely misinformed. They believe that the Argentina thing isn't a loan. They believe illegal alien immigrants don't get Medicare. They believe all these crazy things, which none of the stuff they believe is true. They actually have to do their own research. It takes 30 seconds to find out this kind of stuff. That kind of bothers me. We live in an age where people are so quick to say that you're wrong, but we don't even have to read an entire book or search through a book to find any information. All we have to do is a Google search, which takes 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's pretty true. Google
I
search.
mean, source, I just told
Overpowered.
you my source. When I first stated the source, I said the International Monetary Fund. It's a 48-month loan, but it's also there is also currency swap involved in the situation. So sorry I didn't mention that. But I mean, who did you vote for? Harris or Trump?
I voted for Harris reluctantly, but that's because it's just not my cup of tea.
Oh man, you shouldn't have voted for Harris, man. That's not a good choice.
Well, my vote wouldn't have honestly mattered, to be quite frank, for presidential. It goes into a giant void because it's Texas, so it's definitely just not. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're right. It's gonna vote red regardless.
Yeah, it's Texas. It's you can do the ballot thing. The votes that matter more are like Senate and House because you can actually swing the. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot
Yeah.
closer. Yeah, no, I voted Harris. I'm more of a Democrat, aligned with more of their policies.
But
Probably
what
not.
policy of Harris did you like?
I think she was on board with expanding Medicare and Medicaid, and typically, I kind of lean that way. With
Expanding
making
to
sure we
who?
have more
Illegal
robust.
immigrants?
What?
Expanding to who? Illegal immigrants?
They're just like giving it more money overall and giving it more benefits, typically.
I mean, we don't really have to give it more money. We just should be taking it away from illegal immigrants because, I mean, 2 million of them, or I think it's 1.6 million of them. Let me not exaggerate. 1.6 million illegal immigrants in California get Medi-Cali, and that's costing a lot of money. That's costing billions of dollars, and also people will scream at the top of their. I don't know. You said open borders, whatnot. With the whole border thing, they'll say, "Oh, the illegal immigrants pay taxes." Which, by the way, I'm not saying that they all. I'm saying most of them probably don't pay taxes. A couple facts I want to bring up. I mean, I think you were listening to the Time guy in the Discord. Yeah, Medi-Cali is the program that undocumented immigrants can get. It's basically California's version of Medicare. It's 62% federally funded, so that's why it's not just California's business. It's 62% federally funded, and it gives a lot of illegal immigrants insurance. And if we took all this insurance away and gave it to American citizens, we wouldn't even have to get more funding for programs like Medicare, because these people came into this country illegally already. Yes, people can say, oh, they pay taxes. Well, the average illegal immigrant's probably making 30 grand or less. We have a $15,000 standard tax deduction. So they're paying taxes on $15,000. That means they're roughly paying $1,100 in taxes. So they're paying $98 billion supposedly, which I don't believe these numbers, but we'll just use the liberal statistics to be a little bit nice. But even if they were paying $90 billion dollars for into the tax system, there's literally multiple government sources by multiple different articles by literally the government, DHS, multiple independent news sources, all sourcing that these illegal immigrants are a debt to the taxpayer system. They cost us $451 billion a year. If we reallocate that money, we can give a lot of Americans health insurance. Like a lot of Americans. I would have to do the statistics for these Medicare programs. They cost roughly about $15,000 to $20,000 per year. So that's $15,000 to $20,000 per year that the illegal immigrants are getting in free healthcare. And some of these programs are full coverage, by the way. And like I said, they're only paying roughly $1,100 a year in taxes. So we're taking a deficit of 300 plus $1 billion a year for allowing these illegal immigrants in. And some people will say, well, it would cost $1 trillion to deport them all. And by the way, I don't believe in deporting all of them. I'm kind of a little bit, on Trump's side when he said that we should be allowing some programs for these, agricultural workers and whatnot. But I do believe, a lot of Americans can fill these jobs as well at the same time. But I do believe what Trump said about the agriculture workers, but he hasn't really stepped up and made any programs for them yet. But it's not like we've seen many, we haven't seen a mass deportation at any big farms. I mean, the only farm that I can think of off the top of my head with deportations was the MJ farm in California, where there was 300 illegals deported, and 13 or 14 of them were kids. They were minors. There was also two or three. No, there was three arrested PDF files that were convicted essay offenders or convicted PDF files. I mean, that's the only farm raid that I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, overall, I just think that we can. I do believe in letting legal immigrants come into the country. I'm fine with that. But when it comes to letting these illegal immigrants into the country, I think that's horrible. But letting them in isn't even the worst part. The worst part is literally letting them have access to some of these programs. And I understand there's some programs that they can't get, but it doesn't stop them. Even if we take away the programs, it still costs $15,000 per year for each one of their kids to be in the public school system. $15,000 per year per kid in the public school system. So I don't know what to say. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I don't know if you believe in open borders. You don't sound like it, but I'll just let you give any.
I mean, obviously, you have to have some definitive line and some clear line just to have some level of like order and stuff. But I'm pretty open to allowing people to come here and work and having like a pretty robust and quick system, so that way people come over, do their farm labor, and then go back to Mexico. And if anything, I'd probably want them more under like a larger like green card system, so you can track them, so they can pay taxes and all that and whatnot, right? Instead of just having them be illegal and just pocketing a lot of the money because it's cash, being able to actually track them and go, hey, you make this much income, whatever, just make sure you, pay your taxes before you go back to Mexico because you're a seasonal worker, right? Because a lot of farms are seasonal. But obviously you do have to have some level of like having a border and making sure that it's somewhat secure, right? Because there is somewhat of a real threat at times with like people like ISIS trying to come over the border, unironically. Like that is a thing people kind of make light of, but it is a real thing. It just doesn't happen in the massive, massive quantities as like people coming over to work and then going back.
Yeah, no kidding. By the way, anyone in the comments, feel free to join the Discord. There's the link once again. I'm going to post it a few more times. If you want to debate me, join the Discord. But there's already like a bunch of people that are in line, at least a
Yeah,
couple people in.
if you want to go on to the next person, you can, man. It's fine.
I know we can keep debating for a while. I don't see anyone that's really joined the Discord, but a bunch of them are saying, debate me, debate me, debate me. But we can at least go for 10 more minutes, unless you have to drop off here or something like that. But if you
No, I
guys
don't
have any
necessarily have to jump off. I'm just drinking.
Okay. If you guys have any comments, questions, anything you want to talk about, feel free to drop some super chats. Already have one guy that is coming on, I think, but he said his name's Adam. I don't see anyone in Discord named Adam. Oh, here he is. Here's Adam.
There's a guy Adam in there. That dude.
Yeah, I see him. I messaged him. An hour ago. He didn't respond then, but maybe he was busy. Well, let's get to 50 likes, fellas. 50 likes. Smash that like and subscribe button.
So I'm curious. Do you agree with like some type of amnesty program when it comes to illegal immigrants?
No, absolutely not. Zero amnesty. Like I said,
Zero
the only thing I
amnesty.
agree with is what Trump said. I wouldn't consider this amnesty. I would give the agriculture workers, some of them, an option to stay in the country legally if they want to file a program, and then they can possibly stay here if they're willing to file all the programs and the paperwork necessary. But you know what president gave the mass amnesty, right?
Probably Reagan, unironically.
Yeah, it was Reagan. But he said that that was one of his biggest life regrets. It was only 1 million illegal immigrants back then, and all of them had to file paperwork. They had to file documents, and if they didn't file documents out of this 1 million people, they were, sent back home. This was 1 million back then. This took about depending on the people, it took about 2 to 4 years to get these 1 million people, all their documents settled and stuff. It took about 2 to 4 years, which is a really long time. And Reagan even said he regretted it himself, and it was a bad decision on his part.
I'd be a
And
little surprised if Reagan said he may have said that, he may have not said. I'm not going to fact check you on it, whatever. But he, some of the people he led over to were also Cubans fleeing like the Castro rule, right? Like,
wasn't there
there's a lot
a
of.
specific visa program for that back then?
I don't remember if it was a specific visa program, but some of the Cubans would literally, and it still even happens today, believe it or not, they literally come over on small boats, like boats that could fit up to like
No, I
20
know.
to
I'm from
30 people.
Florida. My friend works as a Coast Guard in the Keys, so yeah, I'm
Yeah, in
100%
the Keys, yeah.
aware of
I'm
that.
actually a little familiar because I have some reserve buddies who actually do training out in the Keys, and they said they've literally seen it where people are taking their boats and they're going across. Like, a lot of those people aren't applying for a visa. They're just like, well, let's see how far we make it. And then
Yep.
they make it.
I mean,
and
it's
then,
only 90 miles from the Keys to Cuba. I don't know if you know that.
yeah, I know it's pretty close, but still, those boats are like, they're not exactly the Gulf type of going boats. Like, a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of them
no, it's
capsize
risky.
too.
People pass
Yeah.
away doing that.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why they have the Coast Guard
But
doing
there
out
was
there,
some
going to do
kind of
patrols.
program under Biden for Cubans and Haitians and those people to come in. I don't know if it's still active or not, but I think it might be. But I mean, that's fine if they're doing it the legal way. But I don't
Well,
believe
they're
in many.
not. They're going over on a
No, I
boat.
know.
They're
I'm
doing
not
it.
fine with those. I'm fine with the Cubans that come here
Well,
legally.
kind of why though, right? Like all it takes is making an executive order to say it's legal. Like, the people are going to flee
I
regardless.
mean,
if
like I
they're
said, there was
under an
some kind of
oppressive rule.
visa thing that allowed. I'm not 100% sure on the visa program, but there was a program that allowed Haitians and Cubans to come in a couple years back, and it was very welcoming to them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I don't see a large difference in it being legal or illegal. I just see them escaping because they're escaping like pretty serious oppression, poor financial situation. Like, you know, they're coming over to have more opportunities, and I think it's pretty cool that the United States is seen as a hub for that. I mean, it's being
Adam,
seen
I
less so right
messaged
now,
you.
but it should be.
My main problem is that we cannot allow people into this country without a background check.
I could understand that, but like, once they're here, I have no problem with like doing a background check and saying, hey, you can stay here. You're
But
not
that's the thing. We
ISIS. You're not
can't.
cartel.
There's no way for us to access federal information back in their home countries. I messaged you on Discord, Adam. There's no way for us to know what someone's federal background is in Nicaragua, Cuba. There's no way for us to know that. That's the entire point. Like, I've lived in other countries before. They don't just say, "Oh, we'll message that country and find out your background." No, they tell you to bring a notarized background check from the country you're coming from, and bring it into the country you want to live in and show the government.
Sure, and it just depends on the situation. Like, obviously, Venezuela wouldn't work with us on taking their people, or Cuba, but like, we still find people who come across the border illegally who are like ISIS. Like, we do find some people's background, like via one
No,
way or
ISIS is
another.
another thing, and I like you focusing on that, but I think there's actually, a worse
Or you could go to
situation with the
cartels
cartel
too.
members.
Sure, sure. You can. There are
ISIS, I think,
definitely
is
ways to
is
find out who's a
somewhat more
cartel member.
rare, but cartels are a little bit more common.
Yeah, cartels are more common for sure. But I mean, we do find people who are cartel affiliated. Like, local law enforcement will work. They'll make a record. They'll make a background. Like, those people, yeah, fine.
Well,
Deport
that's a
them all
little bit
day.
easier because the Mexican government does, cooperate with us. We do share information back and
Yeah.
forth on who's like known wanted cartel members and high-ranking criminals. I mean, first off, a lot of these cartel members and a lot of these ISIS people are very high-ranking. Like these are not, for the most part, these are not bottom-level people. And if we do figure out that they have ties to ISIS, that they're bottom level, that's normally because of information they might have on their phone or on their personnel or et cetera, like that. Have you ever seen like the thing a couple years ago under Biden where people were dumping their passports and their ID at the border? Like when ICE or the immigration forces go to the border, all they see is a whole bunch of passports and IDs that have been dumped up. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I haven't heard that story specifically, but obviously, if you're ditching your passport, you don't want someone to know who you are, and those people do exist. I just don't think they're a large enough portion of the illegal immigrants for me to deport every single illegal immigrant. Now, that
But
being
we
said, I still think it's fine to deport and handle the cartel in the way we see fit. And honestly, I'm even a little bit more aggressive than most people. I think it's fine to go drone the cartel every now and again, but
I don't think that's aggressive at all. But would you agree with? I mean, I can send you the federal statistics if you disagree with it. But do you agree that illegal immigrants, even though that some of them pay taxes, are a deficit on our taxpayer system, considering all the free insurance and programs that they get, and them allowing their children into the public school system, even though that they're undocumented.
no, I don't agree, because I have read some other. I don't know what study you're going to reference. I don't know what you're going to reference, and I did look this up a couple
I'm
of years ago.
referencing
But
DHS and the federal government, and also I can show you 10 sources. I mean, not 10, maybe 5 or 6 right here on the screen that says that they're, a deficit to the taxpayer system. I believe this is one of them.
I mean,
I
the
mean,
one
this
I
is the
use is
National
also.
Review. Border crisis cost American taxpayers $451 billion annually. House GOP report claims. Then here's another one. The Center Square report crisis would cost U.S. taxpayers $451 billion.
When was this published, if you don't mind me asking?
This was published, I think, a year or two.
I don't think I've read that one specifically, but
Newsmax border crisis costs U.S. nearly $500 million,
all right,
and it's a yearly fee.
that's
And
Newsmax, so that one's pretty.
oh, so it doesn't count. But what about the federal
I'm
government
not saying it doesn't count
statistics?
completely, but like, if you're going to reference Newsmax, I'll reference Cato, and Cato's the probably the one that
Oh,
actually
come on!
does do.
Don't. Cato's
Well,
bullshit, man.
what?
I won't.
Cato's not. They do good research. It's just they
No,
do
they don't
research
do
that's going to
good
be slanted.
research. When
They
every
do.
single it's just slanted. When every single report they're coming out with blatantly
Yeah, it's
lies and
slanted.
says that illegal immigrants are a net positive, a net benefit to the taxpayer system is a lie. We've already established that most of them
It
are making $30,000 a year or less. That effectively
well,
means they're paying $1,100 a year in taxes. Doesn't matter
well,
which way you put it. When they're only paying $1,100 a year in taxes, they are not a net positive to the tax system.
well. I mean, like I said, if you're going to reference Newsmax, I'll reference Cato. But I wasn't going to bring them out. I was going to let it just go whatever,
And
because
to
I
be
didn't read the
fair,
specific.
Americans that are only paying $1,100 a year in taxes probably aren't a net positive either to the system. A lot of them
Sure.
aren't. So
I mean,
if that's for Americans, then how do you think that's not the same for illegal immigrants? You just agreed on that part.
I like I said, the information I've seen usually has them rated as being a net positive, but I haven't seen the specific study you're talking about, so I can't say
If I
whether it's
send it
true or
to
not.
you, can you pull it up on your computer and
I
review it?
I can, but I'm going to take like 15, 20 minutes to review it, and it's going to be like pretty boring. Like, if you send it to me, I'll read it and then I come back at a later date. But like, I don't like just like going through it nilly willy, only because I like to be able to sit down, think about my position, and then think about like counterfactuals and stuff. You know what I mean?
I can understand. I can understand. Adam said, Adam, if you want me to have you on here right now, could you drop a $20 super chat because I'm enjoying my conversation with Buddy here. But what is your opinion like on what is your opinion on them having Medicare in California? Like, are you okay with that?
I mean, when you say Medicare, I'm thinking of the federal system. But when you say the state California Medicare, I think I get around that if they're paying state taxes. I don't think I have a problem with that. If they're
It's
paying like,
also federally funded.
yeah, there was a mention about that earlier.
It's
If it's federally
62%
funded,
federally funded.
I'm less for it. But if it's like coming through and they're paying California state taxes, I don't have a problem with it. If they're not
But
paying
you've
any
already
taxes at all,
acknowledged
that would
that a
be an
lot of
issue.
them are getting paid under the table.
They are. A lot of them do cash, and a lot of them also do trades as well, and they do construction. That's majority in farmers, right? That's going to be cash business, but at the same time, like that's anybody who takes cash in America, not just them.
So even though there's a 40 million population in California, and this program is only a set amount of budget, meaning only a set amount of people can get the Cali Medicare, and this program is also for legal citizens. You're fine with illegal immigrants taking up
If they're
American spots?
if they're paying taxes into the system for medical provisions in the state of
It's not one of
California,
the
I'm fine with it.
requirements to pay taxes of any kind to get on this program.
Well, then the way I'd work that is I would have them be like a resident of California, however they work it, and then I'd have them pay taxes, and then they could be a part of the system.
So that means you disagree with the current way that they have the Cali Med set up?
Yeah, sure. If that's the way they have it set up, I don't know that much about the California state medical care system, but if that's the way they have it set up and I'll assume it, then yeah, I would disagree with that process. I would change the process a little bit, but I wouldn't necessarily kick out all the illegal immigrants in order to have a more fluid process, if that makes sense. Like you would just
But what
change the
if,
process.
let's give it a random example. What if they're just regular illegal immigrants and let's say they all are paying taxes and they are paying $1,100 in taxes? Do you think that's fine to prioritize them, even though just because they're paying taxes over American citizens, even though they're illegal immigrants?
Well, how do they prioritize who gets the first medical care anyways with that
I mean,
type of
it's
system?
for this program, it's first come, first serve. I mean, it just means if illegals sign up before an American, that means they're going to get it before an American. Do you think that's fair that, it's first come, first serve? We have an illegal immigrant versus an American citizen. Do you think they should
I
be
mean,
getting it instead of American
I,
citizens?
I would say I'd change the process, but to kind of answer your question, I would be okay with it if the deadline was more like Medicare, Medicaid, where it's like if you're under a certain like if you're under like a certain wealth limit, then you're going to get that care. So I'm fine with that as like the
It's
process.
only
But
for
if you're
poor
saying,
people. You can't get it if you're making 100 grand a year.
yeah, of course. But that's what I'm saying. Like but if it's first come first serve, then I'd have an issue with the process. But to answer your question, yeah, I think it's okay if they're paying into the system and they're an illegal and they're getting health care. But if you're
Even
saying
though
that like
even though it takes healthcare away from Americans that could be applying for it, because remember, there's a set amount of budget. That means not everyone
mhm.
can get this program.
Well, I don't know how the California medical that side actually works. Do they just say like, "Hey, all the spots are filled up. You can't go here because you're the 500th person, not the 499th person if you're making like poverty level, right?" Is that how it works?
I mean, there's 40 million people, and at one point with the
Hmm.
budget they have, at one point or another, they're gonna have to stop giving it to people.
Well, not all the 40 million people are under that medical care system, right? It would be they might be under the system, but they may not be the ones benefiting from it because, like you're saying, if you make enough money, then you're not going to be like a part of it. Just like Medicare, Medicaid, right? Like I'm not on Medicare, Medicaid at all. I have nothing to do with it because I luckily make enough money to where well in my situation, but I luckily make enough money to where it doesn't apply to me, right? It'd just be the same thing. Like there's certain people, there's not a lot of, there's people who aren't going to be able to be applying for those standards, like because they make so much money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But most illegal immigrants aren't making over, they're not making 100 grand a year. Otherwise, they would just be in a visa program.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they'd be on an HB1 or something like that, or they're probably working for like Google or App. They're working for they're working for a company that's going to do everything legit, right? But like I said, I think I'd be okay with it as long as they're paying into it. If they weren't paying into it, I would make it to where there's a system that they pay into it. They're resident of the state, and you track them.
But once again, when there's a set state budget, it kind of prioritizes illegal immigrants over American citizens. Any way you look at it. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not 40 million. It's 30 million, 0.43 million. Okay, cool.
Even if it was 50 or 60, it's more about the process. It's not like the pure number as far as the population thing. And it's since I mean, it's whatever.
Or what if what about, all the homeless people that don't have health insurance? We couldn't reallocate some of this funds for the illegal alien immigrants, Medicare in California, to say, Washington or New York, where they have a lot of homeless people?
I mean, I absolutely think homeless people should be able to have some sort of like medical care and stuff like that. And I would say at that point you would just find a way to work the budget to where you increase it, or you'd find a way to change the benefits to where maybe you could say, hey, instead of $50,000 you get medical care, it's 45 or whatever. But obviously it's
Well,
very
I just
expensive,
told you a
right?
solution to the system, and now they're calling me a liar because I miscalculated the population by 300,000. Boo hoo, boo hoo. Sorry, it's not even about that.
Yeah, I don't care about the number thing. It's whatever. Whether it's 41 or 45, like it's about the process, right? It's not necessarily about.
I mean, it's literally like 39.4 or something, and they're crying about the small amount of people that
Yeah.
and that's not even 100% accurate number. I mean, if we have undocumented immigrants in California, how do we know it's not 40 million?
I think on the census they do have a form where you can like say that even if you're undocumented, you just like check the box or whatever. It's just about having a mailing address for the census, right? Like they do count them on
Yeah.
the census.
And the homeless don't have a mailing address, and not everyone fills out censuses either.
Yeah, not everyone fills out censuses, but like it's hard to get an exact number. Like the census is the best way to do it.
Exactly, bingo. So it's hard to call someone an exact liar because, oopsies, miscalculated the population. That is true, NC. That is true.
Like I said, I don't know as much about the California system. I can't really speak to it.
Well,
I
I
never
don't
lived
think
there, so
Texas has the same program.
no, Texas doesn't. I don't even know that much about Texas's program because I just don't. I'm not in. I don't need it, so I'm just in a different position than most people, anyways. But we also don't even have like an income tax, right? So you know,
Yeah,
we
neither
just
does
jack up property
Florida. I'm
taxes.
from Florida.
Yeah, no income tax, but we jack up the property tax. But that depends on where you live. You could live in a poorer place
I
and
would
pay
have to
less
look
property.
into this specifically, but I heard that the border towns in Texas have a higher rate of welfare than other places.
That's probably accurate because most border towns are pretty poor typically.
Fair enough,
Maybe
fair enough. I'm just wondering if it's possibly illegal immigrants getting other benefits that I don't know about.
border towns typically, besides El Paso, don't really produce that much. You would think they do, but they just, the big money in Texas is in Austin, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. Like they're in the big cities,
Yeah,
right?
I've been to
Like,
Texas. I've been to Dallas. I've been to San Antonio. I've been to Austin.
yeah, like Austin's got all the fucking computer shit. Houston's got like oil and cattle shit. Dallas has their things they do, all that shit.
I agree with that comment. Florida is by far the best state in the union.
What do you live in more? If you want to say, do you live in more Panhandle or more South?
Definitely in the South,
Oh
Southwest
man,
Florida. That's more of a no. That's
it's
more
the
of
Gulf.
yeah, the Gulf of America.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from the Houston area, so I've been to the Gulf quite a bit.
That's
I grew up
awesome.
going to the beaches in Galveston and shit. It's definitely different though, because I went to the Pacific Ocean and I did not expect the temperature drop between the two because the Gulf's really warm, right? And the Pacific Ocean is known for being extremely cold. It fucking shocked the fuck out of me.
I've
Big
never
difference.
collect for this guy saying SSI. I've never collected a single dollar of any form of welfare from the federal government or the state government ever in my life. Howdy, neighbor. Wake up, America. Well, I appreciate the conversation. I think that's all I have for right now.
Yep.
But
No, you're good, man. I'll see you later.
see you later, man. Peace out. I'll probably have that Adam fella in here. Florida is amazing, and Tampa is great too. But I'm going to join back on the Discord, and if anyone wants to join in there, I'll send a link real quick if you want to debate possibly. There you go. There's the link. Adam, you have to message me on Discord so we can decide what we're debating about. But smash that like and subscribe button. There's plenty of jobs in Tampa. You just can't find one because you're not very ambitious. Anyway, I'll be back. I'll be back, fellas. I'll be back in a couple minutes here, but smash that like and subscribe button. Unless you guys have any final questions, comments, drop some super chats, join the YouTube membership. You're in my Discord voice. Okay, I'll come in there in a second. Hell no! Illegal immigrants shouldn't get that, and neither should regular immigrants, for that matter. But I'll be back. Here, let me take off my green screen real quick. Peace out, fellas. I clicked the wrong freaking button, but peace out, fellas.